you plugged in by any chance? No, you're not. There we go. Need that, don't need that. Maybe need those. And that is needed. Alright, let me just bring you... what am I trying to do first? Alright, let's drag you here. Just let me know when you're ready to go.
I'm ready. It's pitch black though.
That's intentional, don't worry.
Okay.
Alright. So, in your in room, you close your eyes, preparing yourself for the jump. You pause hesitantly, for you realize that Rhyme isn't here watching over you or accompanying you this time. You feel a little guilty. He did tell you to wait, but your excitement was simply too much to bear. After beginning the ritual, you concentrate hard, focusing on your conscious form, freely flowing within the streams of time. 10 minutes pass, and with a deep breath, you open your eyes. You find yourself in a small room, illuminated by nothing but a single bulb of light hanging from a chain. You recognize the design, and judging by some of the other items that are in here with you, you realize that you were within a storage closet of some kind. You swiftly grab your Hurvan attire, quite drab and tasteless in your opinion. It's not an outfit you particularly enjoy wearing. Too many greys, not enough skin, not exactly form-fitting. But you know it is necessary to maintain the facade of Arushi. Now, what would you like to do?
Oh my gosh, you said it right. um. So obviously, I'll change first.
Sure thing.
And then I'll listen at the door to see if there's any noises before
Give me a
I
perception check.
barge out into someone's home or something. Does it look like a business storage or a personal storage closet?
Looking around, there's a lot of dust gathered, and a lot of things happen to be in boxes. There's actually a very few things that are out. Like, the only things that are like a couple of broom-like devices and such. So you get the sense that this isn't exactly for homes, shall we say.
All right.
Alright, so you put your ear to the door, and you hear noises, you hear movement, you hear people. It sounds like that you're on a street.
Oh. That's not as bad. Sorry, I'm eating at the same time.
No worries.
Is there anything in there that looks like Victor could use?
Give me investigation. Looking around, you open some of the boxes. Inside, there's actually quite a few similar outfits to the ones you're wearing. A bunch of old gizmos and doohickeys that don't seem to be functioning or have any purpose in their current form. So yeah, you don't manage to find anything that looks salvageable.
Could I take one extra outfit and put it in my bubble in case I ever take someone back with me?
Yeah, certainly. Add another curvin outfit to your equipment or something.
All right. So I step out, but I try to do it with confidence. I just step out and shut the door like I'm meant to be there.
So you recognize this type of door, and it is a door that opens from the bottom upwards. So you lift it, and as you open the door, the size of the buildings in front of you come to you as somewhat of a shock. You've never gotten quite used to the sheer immense height that these buildings have. The lights, too, hundreds if not thousands of them, covering every square inch of these monoliths. The night sky glows with a strange green aura, somewhat unhealthy in appearance, and even during this late of an hour, the streets are packed with all manners of beings, a multitude of races, some familiar, others never before seen. And the technology. Beings of metal that walk as men. These androids have always piqued your interest, an ancient magic from this bygone age that is unseen within the world known back home. Let me bring you light.
Yeah, those are pretty tall.
So there, that's what it looks like, provided you can see it.
Yeah, it came up. Do I
So that.
recognize? Is it still split the same way? Are there like districts kind of stuff, or is it one big land?
In Hyevan culture, it is basically, if there's land there, there are people, there are buildings. Every square inch of the entire planet that is terrestrial is part of this huge megacity. Think Coruscant from Star Wars.
All right. Are there like sectors or anything like that that they use to divide it up?
Yes, they do, yes.
All right. Do I recognize what sector I'm in, or?
You do recognize this sector. It is the sector that you have come previously with Rhyme. It is Sector 42.
All right. So I'll get my bearings and I'll walk up the street and then I'll turn the corner to do my diddly do and come out of a corner that's closer to their house.
Yeah, no worries. You recognize where you are. You instantly recognize the sheer immense size of that building in the corner over there. That building is essentially the head of a huge business conglomerate within Curve culture. Basically, the people in that building are responsible for all the technology in this sector.
All right.
So, using that as a landmark, you find your way easily.
Okay. Well, you said I could jump about too, right?
Yeah, you can technically just blink though.
Yeah, but so just to make it seem less weird to people in the streets, that's why I turn the corner, and then I'll come out
Yep.
of a corner near their place, and then I'll
Oh. All right, you find a street that's relatively quiet. It's actually pretty hard to do in this day and age, but you do manage to find a secluded area and you manage to do your little warp over.
All right. So I look around sheepishly to see if I see Rhyme first.
As you pass through the street, a machine whizzes overhead. Something of such immense size floating freely on the air. You question how could it possibly be real? And as you try to examine it further, its thrusters power up and it starts flying further and faster into the sky before it disappears beyond the heavens.
All right. So I'll walk over to Are they in like an apartment complex kind of thing? I mean, I'm assuming there's
Yeah,
not
they
too
live
many
in a
free.
massive apartment
Yeah,
complex.
I doubt there are too many freestanding buildings for single homes, but
No.
so I'll go to their apartment complex.
Alright.
Is it something you can just go in, or do I have to like call them and have them let me in?
You can just freely enter.
All right. So I will do a surprise visit then, and just kind of go out
Alright.
and ring the doorbell, whatever.
So you walk into the building. It's got a relatively large lobby, and there's quite a few people sitting within, just casually chatting. You walk over to the device you know as an elevator, and you hop into it, and you press the button for the 713th floor, as you have done so various times before. And within a matter of seconds, the doors reopen, and you find yourself looking out over the huge landscape of buildings, though the green haze makes it a little bit difficult to see too far.
So I'm assuming since I've been going back and forth probably 20 years or so, I probably knew her parents before she was born.
Yes.
Okay, and that's why I have like such a connection with her.
Yes, you know them as the type it for you. The Tamil family.
All right. And what are the parents' names?
The father is named Joy, surprisingly enough, and the mother piece.
Joe. What was the father's? Joey?
Joy.
Oh, Joy. Okay.
Yes.
And then I thought you said like I heard something. Okay.
There's, they are also their virtue names.
And Mother Peace. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll go up and I'll dig through my bag first. Well, not my bag. I'll pull out from my orb the stationary kit that I got, and I'll hold
Alright.
it slightly behind my back though,
Nothing?
and then I'll ring the doorbell.
Alright. You press the button, and you hear movement from within the door in front of you. A few seconds pass before the door opens, and in front of you stands a tiefling man. His skin is purple, his hair black, his eyes pale grey.
I'll give a wry smile and be like, "Hello, Joy."
Arashi, you devil! You could have told us you were visiting.
You know me. I just like to drop in at the oddest of times.
He moves in for a hug. Oh, how are you, darling? It's
Uh,
been too long. Far too long.
Doing well, doing well. Is the little monster in?
Yes, she is. Would you like to see her?
Oh, of course, of course.
Unfortunately, Peace is out at the moment, but I can. I am sure I'm more than capable of entertaining you for a while.
Of course, and give her my love in case she doesn't come back before I leave.
Of course, of course. He steps aside to let you in.
Walk in and say, and I kind of like, I mean, I'm assuming I know where she kind of hangs out, so I go near there and then I make really fake loud sniffing noises, and I'd be like, "Is that a monster I smell?"
You hear this slight gasp and a light chuckle before you hear a, "You're the monster here."
I laugh and be like, "Always and forever."
Before you even realize it, Poetry jumps out from behind you, grabbing onto you and swinging around. And she hugs you,
Give her a
almost
hug.
throwing you off balance.
Probably. So I'll give her a hug back and put her down, and then I'll pull out my. Well, I'll keep my hand behind my back again, assuming she hasn't quite seen it, and tell her, "I have a surprise for you."
Ah, What is it?
But have you been a good girl?
I've been the best girl.
Kind of look over to Joy to see his reaction.
She does not lie, I can tell you that.
Alright, so I pull it out and I say, this is stationary.
You sure what?
This is used to write things, but without
Oh.
technology.
Oh, so I don't have to use the computer?
No, you can just do it with this thing right here. And I hand her the pen.
She takes it and examines it.
And then
She's seen them before, but you get the feeling she's putting on a show for you.
yeah, and then I show her the inkwell and I say, you just dip it in here, and then when you write, write on the page, it'll appear. But you can't just delete it or erase it. You have to actually, you have to get it right the first time.
That sounds like a challenge.
Oh, it is.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
She gives you another hug and just rushes off into her room with her new toys.
Kind of laugh and stand up and turn to Joy. And so what's been going on? Anything exciting? I've been holed away for a while, so I haven't heard any news or anything.
His expression changes from one of joviality to one that's a bit more serious, and the mood shifts in the room a little bit. Well, times are tough, but we're managing. What with the pollution and the struggles over land rights, it's becoming a little bit difficult, but thankfully there hasn't been any civil war for a good while. It's alright.
That's wonderful. That it's settling down a little bit, I think. I say. I can't speak at all. Blah, blah, blah.
It's alright, you just woke up.
Um, I
The
have a.
north looks bad.
Yes. And so I'm assuming I know some of this Civil War thing.
You do. The northern hemisphere of the planet, it is currently suffering heavily from major pollution. There's somewhat of a global warming issue happening with holes in the ozone, particularly in the northern hemisphere, as that is the most populated one. So, as you can imagine, pollution is a much more serious problem there. The green haze is a byproduct of all that pollution. It's it's nearing toxic levels, but at the moment it's, you know, still livable conditions.
Yeah.
You know from, being a time traveler that you are a good few centuries ahead of the calamity.
Do people in the hemisphere use gas mask stuff a lot? Is that like a common?
It is becoming a common thing to do. Yes, people are getting very what's the word?
Not paranoid, but cautious.
Superstitious.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they're getting superstitious, a little bit paranoid.
All right. And but what's the war about per se? Why are people attacking?
That that stems from there's land shortages, there's food shortages, and basically all the military powers are getting itchy trigger fingers because of it.
I see.
Yes.
So I partake in some small talk with them for a little bit, and then
Sure.
I redirect my question, and I ask Joy, pardon me in advance. This may be quite a This may be a little bit of a weird question, but have you heard of anything called a troll?
A troll?
Yes, I
Hmm.
recently read something about it, and I've never heard it before.
Let me guess. Good old children's story.
Possibly.
Yes, well, trolls. Huh. Are we talking about real living trolls here? Because
If
there hasn't been any in a long time.
oh really, I hadn't even heard of them. Like, when did they used to live? Like, how long ago?
Well, there's no wonder you haven't heard of them. They're very uncommon knowledge. They've been around since the start of this age, but they all disappeared. A couple of centuries into the age. They didn't last very long. It
What?
seems we advanced too fast for them.
What were they?
Horrific beings, absolutely frightening to the eye. They were large, very large creatures, towering twice as tall as any man. They were huge, strong, powerful, and no matter what you did to them, they just kept coming. They would not stay down.
Is it like they don't
But
feel the pain inflicted on them?
no. In fact, it's a very good thing that they're all gone. Back when magics were more common over Machina, you know, magic could do anything. That's how the trolls were wiped out. Machina? I don't know how that would fare against a creature of that kind.
I see. It isn't possible that any more survived, is it? Such a horror would be.
Well, if you ever manage to find a cave, you let me know, yes?
If I make it out alive, I guess.
Right, right.
So I would, and then kind of wrapping it back and like, so why would they even use it in a child's book?
You know, just a creature to scare the children in line, get them to behave. The boogeyman.
True, but it seems a little bit more gruesome than a normal boogeyman.
Well, if you look back at the ancient stories of trolls, they did all manner of horrific things. Though, since they're all gone now, I suppose that we as the victors get to write the history on them, after all.
That's true. Anything extinct must not have been that strong, correct?
Precisely. It's a shame, though. Apparently, troll fat was an amazing salve for all manner of diseases. Not like we need it anymore, though, right? With our technology.
True, true.
But you know how some of those hippie types are with their all their natural medicines and salves.
Of course.
In fact, it's quite funny. A lot of the extremists have begun spouting that everything they do is for the name of the world. Tough times.
Tough indeed. Well, I can't stay for very long this time. I'm really sorry, but it was wonderful seeing you.
Oh, not at all. Ah, likewise, my dear. Thank you so much for the gift. I'm
Of
sure
course.
Poetry is going to town on that in her room.
Great. And then she can tell the little boys and girls and other parents can be jealous that your daughter's the only one who has actual writing utensils.
We haven't seen paper in a long time. Where did you find this?
You know, I always have my ways.
That you do, my dear. Where's Reem? I haven't seen him.
Oh, I'm not exactly sure. Rhyme is off doing his own thing. I'm doing mine. I'm sure we'll meet up again soon. I'll let him know
Ah,
that
such
you're.
a shame.
I'll let him know you want to see him again.
I would like to have a nice drink with Mr. Tallis. It's been far too long.
Oh, yes, he can certainly put them under, as if he's not quite a
Yes, he
character enough.
can.
As if he's not a character when he's not drunk. He only gets, well, you know.
Yes, I do. Only too well.
Well, it was great seeing you. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Glad that you came to see us. It's nice to see a friendly face in these trying times.
Oh, same. I dare say that you're my only true friends over here, so...
Friends. It's a rare word to hear these days. I'm glad.
Well, you're a rare person.
Thank you.
It was Mother Peace, was her name?
Peace, yes.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought it was Mother Peace. Okay, I get it now. Alright.
Yeah, it's
Tell...
whatever you
Yeah,
want to
no,
call
that's
her.
fine. Give Peace my love. Tell her I came.
I'm very sorry that she couldn't be here. She
Oh.
must have been held up at work or something.
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, as you know, I just drop in, so can't expect everybody to be waiting for me.
No, fair's fair, I suppose.
So I get up and make the cordialities and...
He walks you to the door and holds it open for you.
Alright. Did the little goodbyes and head back down to the street.
Alright then. Where to from here?
I want to look for a book, okay, I won't say it in the old terms, an information center, since I doubt they have bookstores, per se.
Not bookstores as we know them.
Yeah.
But they have information hubs. Yes. Alright, you know the area well, so it doesn't take you long to find one.
Alright. I'll type in troll.
Alright, so you type in troll into the struggling to think of the word here, the system.
Like this?
Because you're clearly not very adept at typing.
The old
And
lady.
up pops this hideous abomination of an image. It startles you just as it flicks up on the screen, just how disgusting this particular creature is to you. What would you like to look at specifically?
Start with known locations. Like, not necessarily nowadays, but like, you know, when they were alive.
Alright, so let me just bring up the thing here. Okay, so the console tells you that trolls tend to stick to caves and forests. They do not like sunlight, so they tend to stay, you know, in caverns during the day and head out to hunt in the forests at night.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of locations in particularly, it actually gives you GPS coordinates. Some of them you recognize as being quite close if it wasn't for the fact that there's no such thing as caves anymore.
Yeah. Do I have like a little basic device that people use around in the past?
You'd have like a PDA sort of thing.
Okay, I'll add that to my list of stuff that'll never take out in the present.
But yeah, you have a smartphone of sorts. It has Wi-Fi.
So I'm assuming I can like transfer this onto here in a sort.
Yeah, very simply, you just wave it in front of it.
I'll make the PDA what, like 2 pounds? Sounds good? Or 1
Yeah,
pound? Okay. Alright, so
it's a very small pocket device.
I'm assuming I get like all the can I pull out all the information about Troll and just start kind of flipping through it as I'm walking around the street?
Yeah, you sure can. So you've left the info booth and you're just looking through the information?
Yeah, so I want to look up the GPS coordinates and see if I can figure out like where in the present world that might be.
Alright, so you can certainly do that. Give me a straight, let's see here. Give me a straight intelligence roll. With advantage because you have
Oh yeah,
the
I didn't click it twice, but anyways, same thing.
9. Alright, where is it? Okay, if you bring up the map, you know that you are roughly in the Lens area. Roughly.
Yeah.
The nearest GPS coordinates are in the mountains across the river to the northwest.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, there's that little group of mountains up there, just across from Brunswick.
All right.
That is one location that is deemed a troll area.
I look up. I want to see if it has any information about what kind of like what weapons of sort they tend to favor. Like what kind of combat stuff. If they have any weapons they favor. If they have any certain type of special attacks, or if they have any weaknesses, things like that.
All right, so you're looking up combat information. You don't find too much, as a lot of it seems to be muddled with myth and legend, as these are creatures that haven't been on this earth for many, many centuries. What you do gather is they have very nasty fangs, and their claws could cleave through stone. In terms of weaknesses, there's even less. What it does say, however, is that trolls have an unnatural resilience to them. They will not stay down unless they are hit by something specific. What that is seems to be magic from what you can gather, though the kind of magic you cannot say. It also specifies that it also varies depending on the troll. So what may work on one troll may not necessarily work on another.
Well, it's a great thing I have chromatic orb.
That is a great thing, yes.
All right, so
It also mentions a bunch of other minor information, like they're a giant, technically. What else can I give you? They have a keen sense of smell. And though large, they move swiftly.
in other words, something we shouldn't really go after quite yet.
You get the impression that it would be a fight.
Alright. So, kind of reading through the part about their quote-unquote weakness, does it seem
Yes.
like until they're hit with that thing that makes them weak, they just ignore most damage? Or is it like, unless they've gotten hit by that, they just won't go down kind of thing? Like, so if you can pretty much bring them to the brink, but you have to hit them with the right thing to actually knock them down?
The information is, as I said, incredibly vague on that particular
Yeah,
topic.
that's fine. So if it doesn't say it at all.
But what you do get the sense that in order to do anything to this creature, the correct magic is required.
Okay, so they shrug off damage unless you've hit them correctly. Okay, that sounds
That's what
fine.
it seems like, yes.
Alright, so... wandering around, I wanna... okay, so from what I've seen, Victor has his little eye. Did I see any other
Yes.
gadgets on him at all?
He has something protruding out of his back, but you've never actually seen what it is. He has it covered by his cloak. He also, whenever you've seen him cast a spell, he seems to have a stone on him that acts as a focus. You also remember the last time you saw him when he came back from everyone's favorite store, Terrence's Oddities, that he was carrying a bag of various items with the intent of probably seeing if any of them could work for him.
Alright.
But apart from the eye, not too much more than that.
So, I know he likes to tinker with things in a general sense.
Yes.
I'm just trying to think. Just because I'm, like, because you're saying that, like, I can tell that it wasn't what it was normally used for, like the eye and stuff like that. So I was thinking about
Yeah.
trying to find some sort of object that I know it's kind of seems like it has a totally mundane purpose for, but that could possibly be used for something creatively if he didn't know what it was, and so he was trying to, and I just gave it to him like a random piece of technology just to see what he does with it.
Yeah, because you know that the eye he's currently using is an android eye. It's not made for humans, but somehow it's working for him. You
Yeah.
don't know how, you don't know why, but you know that shouldn't be in his head right now.
Yeah. So that's why I was thinking, like, he seems to be really creative with his uses of stuff. So I wanted to get some kind of,
Yeah, that's a word.
I want to see if there's like a store or something I can go to where I can get some quasi-mundane item just to see what kind of creative use that he might put it for.
Yeah, certainly.
Not like, a flour mix or anything, but just see if there's
Get him
anything
a nice
around.
Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you managed to find a relatively small store that, well, not small, it's part of a massive building, but it's one store among many within this building that just seems to sell a bunch of random spare parts and knickknacks for various technological items, mainly Class A stuff that everyone knows and uses.
alright. So I start sifting through it and want to see what kind of stuff I see.
All right, so you find some flashlights, very basic flashlights. You find a series of batteries. Oh, where's my list? Damn it, I can't remember everything. I'm not a good DM.
You're not supposed to remember everything.
Uh, replacement parts for various small technology, such as vacuum cleaners, microwaves, hair dryers, that sort of stuff. Like very minor technology like that. Phone-like devices, computer-like devices, and yeah, just stuff of that nature, kitchen appliances, stuff like that. There's also a robotic dog.
A robotic dog?
There is a robotic dog. Currently not functioning. But you notice it in the corner on one of the tables.
That's so cute. Is there like a price tag on the robotic dog? That's so cute.
There is, and it makes you almost double over as you see the price tag of 60,000 credits.
Wow. Is it a credit equal to like a gold piece in a way?
It, for the sake of this, it functions the same, yes.
Wow. I turn to the storekeep and I ask if this is actually in working condition.
I guess not. Knock the price down a little bit, I suppose. We lost the remote for it, so until we find that, it's not exactly functioning, I'm afraid. Unless you're pretty tech savvy.
No, I'm not. But 60,000 for something that doesn't even work. That's insane.
Yes, yes. He walks over begrudgingly and takes the price tag and replaces it with a 20,000 credit price tag.
In my knowledge, is this fairly standard?
It is actually pretty standard. In fact, it's actually quite cheap for what it is.
Yeah.
Essentially, this is an android. It just has a dog body. It can speak every known language of the time. It functions like a supercomputer.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a living supercomputer, essentially.
I so want it. How many people are in the store?
There's quite a few patrons, just window shopping for the most part. There's the shopkeeper. He has 2 clerks currently doing stock take, and there's about 4 people doing the same thing you are, just having a browse.
I'm assuming that my orb isn't super out of place considering how much technology is around.
No, there's a lot of devices that function very similarly. The bag of holding, so to speak, is basically whatever people want it to be these days. That's how far technology has come. They can make anything into anything.
Alright. So what is around the dog?
The dog is surrounded by just a bunch of broken spare parts that are selling for a couple of 100 credits. You know, just a bunch of random pipes and circuit boards, motherboards, very generic pieces of metal
Couple hundred for the lot or for like...
for the individual bits and bobs that you see.
It's really expensive here.
Oh, yes.
Alright. So I kind of play with my orb and just kind of like between my hands while I'm looking at these spare parts. Really want to steal this dog.
You could certainly try.
I want to lean in and kind of like be looking at the bolts and then kind of like turn my head over to the side where one of the bolts is on the end that looks out towards the store and see if the guy's looking or if any of the people I see are looking.
Yes. He's currently serving another customer.
I really want to do this so bad.
You can certainly try.
Can I try to pop it into my orb when I'm with my hand when I see nobody looking?
Give me a sleight of hand check. As you put your hand on this dog, suddenly an alarm rings out, and you realize that there was sensors on everything on the tables. The Store clerk turns around immediately and says, "What are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry, it just looks so cute. I was trying to pet it.
Don't touch the merchandise, please,
My
or I'll have you
apologies.
escorted out of here."
I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
Tourists. He's back to serving the other customer.
That's funny. I wanted so bad.
One of the other store clerks comes over and you notice he's a little bit closer to you than you'd like. It seems that he's keeping an eye on you slyly.
Of course. But not very slyly.
No, not really.
It's so bad. Can I grab it and blink out?
I'm gonna have to say no, unfortunately.
I figured you would say no with that, but hey, just you see what I can possibly do. All right. So I'll walk out.
All right then. Is there anything else you'd like to do while you're here?
You know what? I go back to the information thing and I type in the symptoms that I've seen from or have heard from Svetlana to see if there's anything in there
Oh,
about that.
okay. All right. So you type in the symptoms. You get various results, none of them quite matching exactly what it is that she described. But then you find something. You find a name.
A name?
A name.
And what is the name?
You find the word divergence.
Do I recognize this? Because that's what we call it, right?
The same phenomenon. Yeah, it's the same phenomenon back in your own time.
I try to start pulling information for it, like see what it says about that divergence.
What you find quite startling. It doesn't have too much, but what it does state is that there is a separate realm to our own. And the phenomenon of those two realms overlapping is called the divergence.
Does it say anything about what happened with these with the people who had the flowers and stuff?
Reading further into the divergence stuff, you find that everything that is written in a purely what's the word?
Theoretical?
Yeah, theoretical manner. It doesn't seem like this is a phenomenon that has occurred, at least in this part of history. Going back to the symptoms of the disease that you searched, you find that it is a disease that affected many in the early centuries of this age. And in fact, you find that troll fat was one of the things that was used to help cure this. But as there are no more trolls, there's no more disease, in fact. There isn't anything relevant for many, many centuries.
All right. random question, going back, totally like jumping back and forth. In that appliance machine, were there any I can't think, like electronic blenders kind of thing?
Blenders,
Yeah,
like actual blender.
like those ones where the two things kind of like spin around in circles.
Yeah, there
Not like a
was.
not like a sorry, not like a blender for like slushies and stuff, but like the flour blenders that spin around in a circle and you have those two little whisks on the end.
Oh, those things. Yeah, there was.
Are they expensive?
They're much more advanced than our ones, for example.
Are they expensive?
Uh, a little bit, but within the realms of possibility.
All right, I go back. Is there another shop I can go to that I didn't, touch a puppy and
There's
I go
many
to
shops.
I go into a different one and see if
All
they have a
right.
puppy.
There's no puppy in this one, I'm
Damn
afraid.
it. So yeah, so I go and I look to see if they have any like blender style stuff.
So you do manage to find a few. Um, they are all sadly without your price range. But as you turn to leave, you notice on the door that they mention that they have finances.
Like financing available.
Yes.
Ah, this is so bad. I'm assuming I have like fake credentials and everything from the
You would,
Chronomancer's
yes.
Guild.
Yeah, they would all be in the pockets of your outfit.
And I'm assuming I have. So my identity, is it
Yes.
back here? Is it linked in any way to Ryan's identity back here?
No, it is not. Part of you all traveling back in time is to remain anonymous as much as possible.
Yeah. Although I guess
So
that he wouldn't have asked for
there's,
Ryan. He would have asked a different name. um, what's his name? Joy.
yeah,
But we'll just pretend. I never made up a
that was
name for Rhyme.
that was a mind blank on my part.
um, so I turn back and I take another look around the stuff. I'm I'm just trying to think of like things that could be possibly used as like a weapon or like not necessarily a weapon, either like some kind of I can't think of the word, like spells that you have that like are used for like opening doors or have those little weird interesting uses. I'm trying to see if there's any kind of device that like when I was thinking about the blenders, like if
You cut out, sorry.
I was gonna mangle up the blending pieces on the end of the blender
Mm.
thingy, and then he could use it if it spins and it's all jagged pieces. He could like dig it into people. Things like that. Like that's what I was gonna see if he did, or if how they have those little eject buttons. I was like,
Yeah.
if he jerry rigs it to shoot it out a little bit, then it's like two like projectiles that are spinning and just rip
That'd be
into people.
interesting. That'd be interesting to make stats for.
Yeah, and so that's a kind of that's why I was thinking of something that he can use in some kind of interesting, funny way. So
Well, all right. Tell you what, I'll throw you a bone. On a table, you notice there seems to be a rope-like object. It is pulsating with a cyan light. In fact, it looks like it is made of light.
I would see that would definitely catch my attention. So
Yes.
I go
So you
up and
walk over to it,
can I
and
like scan it with
you,
my PDA and it comes up with what it is?
you do. And what comes up is it is a light rope.
So what does it do?
It functions as a regular rope. It is 50 feet long. It also emits a light within a 20-foot radius. And the light changes depending on the alignment of that who holds it.
Really?
Yes.
Does that include the chaotic to law?
Yes.
So I am chaotic neutral, so I touch. Oh, am I? I turn to the storekeeper and am I allowed to touch this?
He nods, but he stands next to you, watching you.
I touch it.
It changes from a bright cyan glow to a pale yellow.
And then I turn to him. Because
He's looking at you with a raised eyebrow, looking at between you and the rope.
I'm like, can you touch it really quick?
He sighs and he touches it, and it returns back to its bright cyan glow.
Is that lawful good?
That is lawful good.
Like, it's really rather fascinating.
It's a neat little parlor trick, I'll admit it.
And then, do I have the coding of it? What it is? Like, do I know the colors?
Yeah, I can give them to you provided you purchase it.
Okay. How exactly does your line of credit work?
You pay 10% now. Over the next couple of months, you pay off the rest, with interest, of course.
Of course. And is there limits? Like, how much is the credit line, or is there any limit to it?
Well, the longer you prolong it, the higher the interest will get.
Of course. But
But we can reduce the startup fee.
there's no limit on the purchases.
There isn't, provided you can pay the upfront fee.
All right. Thank you. And then so how much is the rope?
Taking into account the finance deal or the full price?
The full price, because I can figure out
The full price is 1,000 credits.
So I would need to give 100.
Yes.
That's pretty interesting. And then I'd never come back. So bad. Um, oh, I want that so bad. I want something that's pretty interesting.
It's certainly interesting.
I want the dog. That would be so cool.
I'll say this, unless you got a nat 20 on that, there was no way you were getting that.
Yeah. I know.
Even if you got a nat 20, I'd probably have to step in and say, look.
The dog's not yours.
Yes.
It,
You're
like,
level 3, you can't have a supercomputer pet.
It crumples into dust. Will you put it there in front of me? I'll just grab it and run.
Well, keep in mind, you will be coming back here several times.
I know. I'm just mostly what I'm thinking of is trying to push it off onto the Chronomancer's Guild. Like, I accidentally opened up a line of credit. Can you help me? I don't know what to do.
You hear a whisper on the air, the words of rhyme. You're not even supposed to be here, doll.
I whisper, whatever. I think I'm gonna have to do it just because it's so interesting.
All right, so you want a light rope of... I'll come up with a cool name later. So that'll be 100 gold or credits.
All right, so I'll give 100. All right.
The light rope of truth. Let's call it that. Like the lasso of truth. Wonder Woman.
I'll have to come up with a different name to give it to Victor, because otherwise he'll be suspicious. Here's the light rope of truth.
Alright.
But
do you want the details of that now?
yeah, that'd be great.
Alright, so the color key for chaotic to lawful to neutral to chaotic, it's bright, blank, dim.
For chaotic to lawful, you're saying? Well, but
Yes.
lawful, I'm assuming, is bright?
Yeah, lawful is bright, nothing is neutral, so it's just regular light, and dim is chaotic. The colors are cyan, yellow, and red for good, neutral, evil. So chaotic evil would be a dim red. True neutral will be just a yellow glow. Stuff like that.
All right.
It also functions as 50-foot rope, and it has a light of 20. It gives off a dim light of 20 meters radius.
Not quite a trinket he can play with per se, but you know, it has its uses.
Definitely has its uses, yeah. It's a
And
practical item, and it has insight capabilities.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see how people touch it, because I think people will probably want to touch it to change the colors.
Yeah, just seeing the color change when you give it, if you hand it to someone, that's going to be interesting.
All right, so I
You'll
buy
know
it,
instantly.
but while it's in it's it's in cyan right now. It's bright cyan.
Unless you've touched it, yes.
I'm going to use the orb to just suck it up, but
Just
without
suck it
touching
up.
without touching it, because
Alright.
I want to see what, you know.
You can also deactivate it using a power word. The
Oh.
power word I will leave up to you. In that case, it just becomes a clear, sort of like Perspex tube.
Oh, then I'll
In
totally
terms of
do that.
appearance.
I'll totally do that. I'm
Alright.
going to think of something weird for my power word.
Yeah, go nuts. Yeah, so when it's deactivated, it's like a clear Perspex tube, but rupee.
Okay. This will be interesting. All right, cool. Can I go back to the present, and then is there a way to find paper this late at night and start copying what I've found onto paper? Like write it down myself?
Yeah, sure thing.
Because I don't want to like whip out a PDA and be like, look at this. You know?
Well, if you go back, you will be in the privacy of your own room.
I know, but no, but I mean to the rest of the group. If I, you know, when I want to show them information, I don't want to be like whip out my PDA and be like, hold on real quick. Oh, here it is. Look at this screen real quick.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So first you'll have to find a quiet area where you could perform the ritual to get back.
Yes. I'll just go back to my broom closet.
Just go back to the storage unit.
Yeah.
Alright, so you go in there, open it up, close it behind you, start prepping for the ritual.
And there's nothing cool, just brooms and stuff. Yeah, you think you'll see that, right? Okay.
Yes.
So
There's a leaf blower.
that works perfectly for him. See what he can do with it. Can I grab a leaf blower?
If you want to take it, sure.
Then I can always just keep the light rope for myself. Or give it to someone else just
If
for
you want to do
fun.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
grab it.
I'll let you take the leaf blower.
Sweet.
Who knows, maybe you can turn it into a cannon or something.
You should totally like describe it in some weird ways that way to see if
Oh
he
yeah, I'm
figures
not
out.
going to tell them what it is.
Yeah, this will be hilarious.
Everything I say here is definitely not what I'm telling them.
Awesome. This will be interesting. So
I'm
yeah,
just saying the thing, what it is here for brevity.
so I walk in and go, cool. And I take it.
Sure thing. Alright, so you start your ritual, 10 minutes later, back in your room. Just as you had left it.
Alright, so I look for, because I don't think I doubt I'm just carrying around tons of paper, you know. Well, actually, never mind. I have 5 sheets
Unless
of
you have a
paper.
journal
I
on
do.
you.
I have 5 sheets of paper.
Oh,
Okay,
there
so
you go.
never mind.
So you can copy down the information from your PDA to the paper.
How many pieces would it take of paper for?
It would take around 3 pieces of paper.
Okay, so that's for the trolls and for Svet's disease.
That would be for everything that you found.
All right.
You're only taking like the important information. You're like writing down the myths and legends of everything.
All right. So I'm gonna write down the stuff about the trolls and the stuff about Svet's disease, and then I'm going to
Sure.
rip the left side of the page from the front to make it look like I ripped it out of a book.
Oh. Give me another sleight of hand check.
With advantage?
To you, it looks incredibly convincing.
Well, I mean, it's ripped paper, so it doesn't really.
Yeah.
It's not like they can tell per se.
Unless they specifically roll for it. Then we've got some stuff to play with.
Well, it looks like
yeah, at first glance, no one's going to question it.
It looks like ripped paper. I don't know how. And anyways, if they anything, they're gonna incite me, not the page. So I'm cool.
Yeah, unless someone specifically says to me, I'd like to incite that piece of paper, you're clear.
I do have an ancient tome that I could rip paper out of.
There's that too.
If it's gonna be anything, if I think that they're gonna be suspicious of ripped paper, but I compare it.
I doubt they will. I doubt they will.
I compare it to the paper in the tome.
All right. So anything else you'd like to do, or are you content with that little adventure?
No, I think I'm content.
All right. So you turn in for the night for your long rest then.
Yeah, well, I do my 4-hour meditation, which is
Yeah, of course.
why I'm able to write all this down and still have my full rest and everything.
Yeah. And you wake up the next morning, and you notice things are not as they seem, and that's where we will leave it.
All right.